Okay, so now that we've seen how we want to approach modifying the chart so that they look a little different, let's look and see how the components that we're dealing with relate to each other. So what we're going to do is we're looking here at a diagram that shows the sales charts model represented as a list of calls to builders, and among those builder calls is the web chart builder call that we will be specifically asking you to deal with. So if the model consists of a list of builder calls, then the builder call for web charts will consist of its own builder inputs, which would include things like chart type. In other words, that shape, whether it's pie or bar or line, the physical dimensions in terms of width and height of screen real estate, and whether the legend shows up. There's a few more that we actually ask you to work with in the lab, but this will serve to show the example quite well. Once you take this collection of inputs together, you can think of that as the model's public interface, right? So these inputs collectively together will be things that you fill these out, you pass it into the model during regen, and it will spit out a chart that is highly customized based on the attributes that you send in. And what we're doing here is we're going to take these and actually expose them to the outside of the model through the process called profiling. And we end up with a profile set that you create during the course of running the exercise. Then what you'll do is you'll take this profile set and take the individual inputs that you want to wire up, and you will literally hook them up. So the input in the builder call in the model will be tied into a profile entry within the profile set. So in other words, height gets linked to this external value that comes in from the profile set. Whether the legend is switched on or not now no longer belongs to the model's decision process. It's now part of the profile set's data set. And so this process is what we call wiring. And the idea there is that once we have this established relationship set up, then we can say that the model may be set up so that it will run the default profile whenever we cause the model to generate. But we also have the option now to say, what if we wanted to set up a different profile, maybe one called bar? And that bar profile has a chart type, which is in fact not a pie, but a bar. And maybe it needs to be a little wider, maybe it's 900 pixels wide because there are so many items in the bar chart that it spills off the edge. And then the height doesn't need to be so high. Maybe the height is only 300 and that legend is turned off, right? And then maybe there's another profile that we want to set up where it's a line graph, where the shape of the chart is in fact a line. And maybe this one is a square 400 by 400, and the legend also does not show up for the line graph. The advantage of doing this, collecting these data externally from the model, is that they can be maintained separately. Plus, this collected set of values, where default comprises the collected set of it's a pie, it's 500 wide, it's 500 tall, and the legend shows up. That all gets applied at the same time with default. Likewise, we can take and apply the bar profile, and all of these values will come in at the same time. Apply the line profile, and all of these come in at the same time. It's the same story that you saw when you did roles-based profiling. What we're now doing is we're taking this chart construct that's added to the model with the web chart builder, and we're treating it the same way. We're exposing its inputs for profiling, we're applying the different changes, and we see a different application come out on the far side.